All right. It's been a little bit since we've played Arena. It's been a little bit since I've logged into Arena. I logged into Arena last night for the first time since Winota has been suspended. So when I logged in, it was like, hey, by the way, Winota's suspended. I was like, oh, right, that's sad. Anywho, we're kicking off with some red-black mid-range this morning. It's kind of like red-black 1-for-1s and flying creatures. We've got Phoenix of the Ash, Rekindling Phoenix, and Skarrgan Hellkite here as evasive threats to kill people. We've got Murderous Rider, Lava Coil, Contempt, and Agonizing Remorse as some 1-for-1 interaction. And then we've got Dreadhorde Butcher, Mire Triton, and Kroxa down towards the bottom end of our curve. And we've got some other adventure creatures here that are kind of sort of 2-for-1s here. Let's go ahead and pop into some games here with this and see how it goes. I have not played any Historic since Winota was banned. However, I've been in and out of the Discord server, checking in on those channels and seeing what people are talking about. I've seen a lot of people saying there's been a lot of Esper Control and Field of the Dead since Winota was banned, which makes sense. Those are the kinds of decks that like Winota was keeping in check by punishing their greed. So if there's no safety valve for greed in this format anymore, people are just going to be going big. Hey, welcome back, Jack. So 25 months. Well, I did come, I was feeling good, and then I came back and found out that they apparently decided they don't want to put Flame Tongue Kavu into Historic, so I'm starting off the day a little bit confused and miffed. I think this is a keep. So like, it's got a lot of lands in it. But we've got Castle as a land that's a spell, and Bonecrusher Giant's technically 2 spells, right? Like it's a 2 and a 3 for us. So this hand technically goes 2, 3, 4. And against turn 1 Knight of the Ebon Legion, I think I'm gonna keep a second Bonecrusher. G-Go, thanks for 31 months. Gunther, thanks for the entire year. I have plenty of colors, so I'm just gonna go ahead and exile the Blood Crypt here. I'm gonna go ahead and, oh my god, it feels, welcome back, chat. Is everybody having a good time? I'm having a good time. Magic's great, love it. Listen, I had a week off of streaming, but I haven't actually played with Magic cards in longer than that. And actually, I can't do this because they're going to have a Phyrexian Obliterator. I'm just going to, like, need my hard removal spell. Yeah, so... Sorry, we played a bunch of Runeterra the week before I took off for Haley, so, like, not like... Games with crappy resource systems are not in my muscle memory at the moment. We'll see if we're able to recover, despite the fact that I time walked myself. Yeah, we forgot how lands works. It's been a while. Huh? I think we're just getting rid of this. I think I want the castle to grind a little bit with, and I want the Phoenix here because it's a resilient threat. Russian Spoon, thanks for the 10 months. I mean, to set a low bar, elves can't be worse than it is, right? New 1-drop's kind of sweet. Okay, so they killed that at end of turn, so unless they don't know what Phoenix does, I assume we're going to see another removal spell happen here. There's a part where they have, like, running. Alright, sweet. Didn't get Great Merchant. Step 1 did not get Great Merchanted. Let's take a peekaboo here. Speaking of. Taking their Phyrexian Arena is a good one here. It's going to stop their card advantage. So if I attack with this, I can basically trade this for most of their boards. I'm probably okay with that. Yeah, Hellrider's a good addition. Hey, Bib. Thanks for the sub gifties. Good morning. Thanks, Gaffer. Yeah, exactly. There's a big incentive to try and trade off for their board because they have Grey Merchant in their deck almost assuredly. Dr. Jack, thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. Start forcing some jump blocks here. You know what? Honestly, Meatwad, thanks for the 10 months. I would, the more people talk about it, the more I feel like it's probably incredibly likely that they didn't put Flame Tongue Kavu in Arena because it can target your own creatures. And like, I'm of the opinion that that's an incredibly stupid reason to not put the card in Arena, but just like based on decisions that have been made in recent memory, that feels like it's probably accurate. All right, so Agonizing Remorse is not a card we want here because these games often come down to top decking, and we want as many of our cards as possible to impact the board off the top in the mid to late game. I'm just bringing a bunch of removal spells. Angrath sounds here too. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Godzilla, thanks for the 7 bucks. I appreciate that. Welcome back. A 1 trim here if I want to fit. I want to fit Cheney Boy in. Actually, do I want Libation here? They have Phyrexian Arena. Do I want this in order to be able to exile that? That actually doesn't seem unreasonable. Yeah, maybe they'll impress me. And the reason why we're not getting that card is they're going to give us a functional reprint. Yeah, Dreadhorde Butcher actually seems kind of bad, huh? That one, like the board comes up. Yeah, like that. I know it was like okay there, but I think it's probably going to be more bad than good. So, Bones is like really adorable and kind of neat, but like the problem with Tiny Bones is that it literally doesn't work with the best discard spell in the format, which is Agonizing Remorse. Isn't Eat to Extinction upgrade from Vraska's Contempt? The double black isn't trivial. It is pretty trivial. If you look at my mana, the double black is mostly free. So the thing about Eat to Extinction versus I probably should have played Mire Triton there. The thing about Eat to Extinction versus Vraska's Contempt is that what's the word that I'm searching for? Is that the decks where gaining life is good, generally speaking, don't give you time to stumble and screw around. Whereas, like, the decks where surveilling is good tend to give you more time, if that makes sense. Hats and Wolfwood, welcome back. Good morning. Flame Swag and Pyromankus, good morning and welcome back. I'm just doing this. It's like forces them to have double removal next turn, basically. Well, this is a symbol for Plat. Probably just getting killed by another Grey Merchant next turn, huh? Feels like it. Thanks, Elizabeth. All right, so if I Murderous Rider this, I still take exactly 6 and die. So I could double stomp this and not be dead. But probably still mostly dead. Morning, Salt Summoner, thank you. So we'll need to play Murderous Rider out so we can gain a little bit of life so we can play another Swift End. We are just dead to any removal spell here though. Dead to third Grey Merchant. Stiff Breeze gonna knock us over. Hey Maidsuit, thanks for 13 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Well, it wasn't really... My break wasn't really a refreshing break for those of you that have never had a small baby in your house. Especially with, you know, going to a hospital for my wife to deliver that baby in the midst of a pandemic. So, it wasn't like it was a vacation break. Everybody's healthy and doing well, and they're sleeping fairly well, but like, you know, and for people that also aren't familiar, Stuber, thanks for 20 minutes. For people that aren't familiar with infants, you know, healthy infants eat every 2.5 to 4 hours. So like, the expected is, you know, little bursts of sleep overnight. Hey, thanks for the tier 3 goods. I appreciate the 14 months. Welcome back. Just keeping me around. Oh, this is fine. Not amazing, but fine. Look at that. We left one Dreadhorde Butcher in our deck. I have it in the opener. True skill game we played. I would describe my existing 2 children as cautiously curious of their new sister, which is honestly a pretty good way for them to be. Okay, so Heartless Act, not so great against this. Vraska's Contempt is good. Opponent a little bit fortunate to peel their 3rd land here. I assume this is about to just get Murderous Ridered. Lord Spam-A-Lot, thank you for the 16 months. Welcome back. Okay, so they're taking 5 altogether here. Alright, I think we just hope they brick on their land for a little bit so we don't get contempted. Morning, Sheriff. See if they can find another runner here or not. I think our best chance to win this game is to try and run them down before they can get to their more expensive plays here. This is only our 3rd card in the bin, so still pretty far away from escaping Kroxa. Little unfortunate that we exiled the Mire Triton, but we couldn't know that we were going to pick Kroxa up down the line. You're staying safe down there, HernQ. Alright, Fabled Passage is actually a pretty reasonable pickup. It's going to give us another card in the bin to work towards Kroxa. However, it looks like this game is not going to end quickly, so I'm really glad we have our Castle Locthwain here to grind some advantage. I mean, we're playing Vraska's Contempt as well, to be fair. Do you ever want to keep up Swift End to kill your own Phoenix? Well, I was tapping out for my Phoenix, so no. Hey, Farron, thanks for 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yep. Wonder if we'll see them bump these into each other to gain some life. Well, that doesn't really make sense because I attacked on the backswing, right? That's another thing they have to exile here. We are branching out from Runeterra this week. In fact, for people that haven't seen my schedule, I've got it in the title today. We're going to be wrapping on some Grift lands today. Today, tomorrow, and Thursday, or today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, we're going to be wrapping on Grift lands. Thursday, Friday will be just historic with M21 stuff since that set's releasing. And then next week, for people that have enjoyed my Runeterra stuff, I'll be back to doing some of that then. Hey, no worries, Rebecca. Congrats on getting the new place. Hope life is well. Five cards total in the bin, so we can escape a Phoenix back here. I have 7 mana total, so unfortunately cannot escape Kroxa, but we will escape the Phoenix. I think I'm actually going to do a write-up of Jumpstart stuff for Quill Stuffing. I need to sit down and look at the full spoiler DAOs. Baby and wife are both doing well, Farron. This is a part where we get, like, triple rendered Grey Merchant out of the game. It's been a while since I've gotten the joy of experiencing that. Well, if they don't have triple rendered Grey Merchant, we get to kill them next turn, right? I guess I could have a removal spell here as well. Yeah, that's actually the spelling. Demir Spy got it right. H-A-I-L-E-Y. It'll be interesting to see if Thragtusk helps mid-range decks combat Teferi, or if the best Thragtusk deck is just playing Thragtusk with Teferi. Close game here. No, I believe someone said the full spoiler was up. I did not. I feel like if Restoration Angel had been spoiled, I would have had a bunch of people tagging me in that. Oh, look, they still haven't fixed getting a Sparky match. Weird. Thanks, Jace. What exactly my schedule is going to look like is going to vary a little bit over the coming weeks once the family gets settled in. Do you know when Jumpstart hits Arena? Yes, the 16th. Oh, also, and this is actually kind of a good metric for how many people look at the Go Live notification, because I haven't seen anybody use it. I didn't put it in the stream title, but we scheduled the date for the next open. The next open is going to be on July 18th, which is 2 days after Jumpstart releases on Arena. As always, if you want a question for Will Jeff Play X, you should submit it using the form on my website. For people that haven't followed, for people that don't follow constantly on the Discord, by the way, based on the feedback from the last sub survey that we had, Electric Crayon, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome. There is going to be a small entry fee for the next Hoaglandia Open, so it will be required that you are currently subscribed to the channel, and there will be, I believe it'll be a $6 entry fee with the MTG Melee transaction fee looped in. That does the entry fee that we're gonna be collecting will be pumped back directly into the prize pool. So with that nominal entry fee, we'll be able to give out Cool Stuff Inc. store credit prizes down to 5 match wins, I believe is gonna be what the breakdown's gonna look like. 4th land here is an excellent draw. Need to go ahead and stick our Phoenix here now and get it bounced for the next 4 turns here against Esper. Blue is the color. Thanks for 16 months. Welcome back. Can you vote to donate entry fee? I don't know what you mean right now. Thanks for the 15 months, Solera. Welcome back. Link to the Discord somewhere. Yep. Yeah, MTG Melee fully handles collecting entry fees, so it'll all be handled by the website. There won't be any finagling or manually tracking. Hey, One Tail, thanks for the biddies. I think we just stomp their face and then play Bonecrusher here. I'm pretty incentivized to get my hand empty as soon as possible for activating this Castle Locthwain as efficiently as I can. Yeah, I posted on Twitter, Nivik. Starting next week, I'll be doing... I plan to go back to doing some daily Runeterra content. I wasn't able to... I wasn't able to fit in Runeterra this week because Griftlands wanted me to do some sponsored segments, and then M21's releasing. Blue is the color. Thank you for the sub gifties. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Good morning.
This is hardly my worst defeat. Let's slow this down.
You were bored? Can't it be here? Alright, so if they tuck this, our best draw is Dreadhorde Butcher. Kroxa's not terrible. I'm gonna Kroxa before I Murderous Rider here, because I want them to discard a card before they know I'm gonna kill this. Gilded, thanks for 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. I played a little bit of Runeterra over break, but playing games with activity with rope timers in them is kind of difficult with children. So played a very little bit, but not a ton. Part of the reason why Raid's the game I play the most off stream is because you can pause it at any point, just like set it down and walk away from it, which is more important now than ever with the newborn. I guess we're just doing this. Yeah, the Runeterra ropes are more aggressive than basically any game I've ever played.
Hone your prowess.
Thanks for the 10 months, Blade Tech God.
I have just the trick for this.
Sure, your daily reminder that it's incredibly offensive that this card is still legal in any Magic format. I mean, this card's not rotating out of this format anytime soon. We'll be able to play Standard without him sometime soon, but he's in this format for forever, because it doesn't seem like they want to ban him anywhere.
You could use some.
I'm going to go ahead and stop Narset here rather than Teferi, because Narset's going to draw them a card next turn. I'd like to slow that down.
I'll protect you.
Alright, so get to pull some of my cards otherwise dead in this matchup, bring in some Duresses and some extra threats. Get to cut most of our spot removal here. Huh? Probably just Mire Triton outright. Trim a Bonecrusher Giant. This at least finishes off their Planeswalkers after they downtick. These kill Planeswalkers even if they've upticked. The rest of these seem very good. Libation for trying to kill Shark Typhoon seems appealing on the surface, but then when you realize that they're going to have Oathakayas, it becomes a lot less good. Thanks for the 14 months, Cody. I appreciate it. This is fine. Not amazing, but fine. It's tough to mulligan too much too because like they're a Thought Erasure deck. I don't know. I think there's a very real chance that, like, if your deck doesn't have a good control matchup in this format now, it's probably not playable, which is super unfortunate. But, like, they banned the things that kept the greedy decks in check. So, like, I don't know. It really feels, and that's one of the things that's really frustrating about modern Magic designs, is it feels like a lot of the choices Wizards makes with their game design lately is pushing away from aggressive decks being good. Like, one of the reasons why I really enjoyed Historic was because the headlining deck in the formats was Gruul and then Winota. And, like, Gruul's been pushed down and then they banned Winota. I would expect Wizards of the Coast to continue blindly ignoring Wilderness Reclamation. I think if you're expecting Wizards to do anything about Wilderness Reclamation in Standard, you haven't been paying attention to their decision-making process recently. I agree. Having the transparency of a watch list would be really good. It's one of the many things Legends of Runeterra does better than Wizards of the Coast. Wizards. And it's just like, you know, it's a common thing for people that have, like, paid attention to Magic for a long time. If you look back over the years, a very constant complaint from the community is a lack of transparency with things Magic related. I just don't think Gruul is nearly as competitive as the Winota deck was. I think the Gruul deck's fine. I just don't think it's, like, keeps these greedy decks in check fine. Freak, thanks for 16 months. Welcome back. The girl deck isn't good enough that it like demands people be. I don't think it's good enough to demand people construct their decks and warp their decks in certain ways, which I think means it doesn't do enough to keep things like Esper down. Thanks, TMS. Okay, so we're getting Shark Typhoons, huh? 3 cards in my bin. Start with this. For people, and again, full transparency, I am not intending to play Standard. I don't think glancing, and you know, I am willing to reassess my opinions as always based on information that presents itself to me, but I do not think M21 is going to meaningfully change Standard. And watching the games of the Pro Tour over the last 2 weekends, Standard does not look fun. The decks that are good are not decks I enjoy playing with or against. They're not decks that allow brews to be competitive, generally speaking. So I do not intend to play Standard until rotation happens in the fall. This is going to be a historic and Runeterra channel until October. Getting a little punished for Solera. Thank you for the sub gifties. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And they've got Ratchet Bomb on board here too. This was a stellar draw. Probably one of the best draws in our deck, if not the best. But Jeff, I thought changing your mind made you a hypocrite. Yeah, God, such salty little monsters. That's what I hear a lot. And it's one of those things, that's definitely a huge culture thing. You hear that outside of Magic too, right? Like you'll hear something that desperately needs to be normalized in the world in which we live is, you know, the ability for people to change their opinions when presented with new information. I had a detractor accuse me of being bipolar because my opinions on Magic formats are able to change. And it's just like wild that someone can not only be insensitive enough to use an actual disease like that to try and be a detractor towards someone, but also stupid enough to not understand that Magic formats fundamentally ebb and flow. Thanks for the 2 months, Entity. I appreciate that. Welcome back. It's a pretty good one. It means you're weak-minded, yeah. No fire, no steel. Might get a game 3 here at least.
No fire, no steel.
Get him. Get him. Yeah, new information can be brought to light. Like, all right, the reason why I made this decision is no longer valid, right? Holding a land for a specific reason. Yes, they played Ashiok. So, holding the land can not only encourage them to play a Thought Erasure, but if they draw another Ashiok, they could bounce one of my spells and then I can exile the land. Happy with how we boarded. Let's run it back. This is fine. Again, like, and this is one of the reasons why discard spells create a lack of compelling gameplay, is any hand that has lands and spells like this one that I have in front of us here is basically a keep against a deck full of discard spells. Because if you mulligan looking for a better curve, they're just going to discard you and disrupt it. So 16-month story, and welcome back. Their hand's actually not great once we take this Teferi away. Can I get a refund on my shillings for a week off? Yeah, all the potential shillionaires have been set back a dramatic amount due to the break. End that one, discard the mountain.
My prowess on the thoughtfulness before action.
Huh? Probably just supposed to be Hellkite, right? And then next turn, I can go land, Warboss, and Rider.
We still have much to learn.
We have another removal spell here then. Okay, yep. This is a 0 convert mana cost. Do I get Warboss going? I think so. I could just pump this too. I think getting more individual threats into play though is better while I'm staring down Teferi. So the 22 months, Kuntz. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Nerf Blaster, thanks for the 5. Manad. Yeah, so Melee has a $1 transaction fee attached to collecting entry fees on their site, and I pitched a $5 entry fee to Cool Stuff Inc. with the pricing structure I wanted. So it needs to be $6. So I didn't want to restructure. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, if they have nothing, I could technically kill them, right? 6, 10, 15. Survey says, it's just Esper things, man. Just Esper things. So 13-month Shadowkin. Definitely into making them have it. What's the highest sub count in a day? Probably back when we did the pink hair drive at some point. It'll be interesting to see when I took a week off, quick maths. What percentage of my subs did I lose? We lost like 500, 400, it was 4, yeah, lost 400 out of 3,000, so we lost 13% of my subs taking a week off. It'll be interesting to see how many of those pop back in. How many of them are just gone? Morning, Labradors. When's the next hair drive? Post-pandemic? Post-pandemic? Originally, at some point, we were going to dye the hair blue for a charity stream goal, and that just can't happen because of the state of the world. No, yeah, that just can't happen because of the state of the world, Gecko. Going to a place like a salon is a very high-risk proposition. An anonymous sub-gifter. Well, whoever you are out there, Spooky, thank you for the 20 sub-gifts. That's an incredible amount. Thanks for the support. So this is basically my one piece of interaction, so we need to make it count here. Trump said we beat the virus. This channel is fake news. Yeah. Diet at home. Putting chemicals on my face is not a good idea. That's something you should definitely have a professional do. So exiling Nexus is appealing. However, I could also take Search for Azcanta. I think I'm going to exile the Nexus. Only having 3 Nexus in their deck makes it harder for them to combo off. So I think we take that. If this was like a Duress, I think I would take Search for Azcanta, but I think the fact that it's Agonizing Remorse to exile means I just take their Nexus of Fate. This is kind of punishing the fact that if I would have known we were going to draw another one of them, I would have taken the Azcanta here, obviously. Carabim, thanks for the 17 months. Sean, thanks for the 22. Brian, thanks for the 5. Welcome back, folks. Doctor, thanks for the 21 months. Vonu, thank you for the tier 2 resub. Alright, I think I'm supposed to prioritize getting Phoenix down, although I guess I can Agonizing Remorse and Mire Triton. Yeah, I'm just supposed to do that. They have a second Uro, so can't. I was gonna say maybe we take the Uro out of their bin, but they have a second Uro here. They have 2 Thassa's Intervention here too. Just bomb it. Yep, I saw it. I believe I already added that deck to the deck queue. There is an M21 historic category in the deck queue. I'm sure we're going to need to add a Jumpstart historic to the deck queue at some point soon here as well. Are Jumpstart and M21 coming at the same time? They are not. So M21 releases on Thursday. Jumpstart releases July 16th. Which is why the next Toglandia Open is going to be historic, and it's going to be July 18th. Immediately following the Jumpstart release. I believe Jumpstart is fully spoiled, yep. Opponents at 17 after gaining 9 life. Because Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath is a card that is legal in Historic. It's a card that's legal in Magic formats for whatever reason. Other than the 20 replacements, it's fully spoiled. I think we have to take Wilderness Reclamation here, because otherwise it just gives them a bunch of Azcanta activations, and I can never beat that. Arena is coming to OSX on Mac June 25th. That's big news, I guess. And Wizards does it again. Wizards isn't a fan of transparency, so no, I think attacking with my 2/1 so they can attack and gain 3 is probably a bad exchange for me. I wonder if they'll give us stats on how much of their user base actually uses the Mac port. Does anybody know, does Epic Game Store have transparent figures like that? Does anybody know? So they have Thassa's Intervention up here. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with Rekindling Phoenix. I don't want to play Murderous Rider out into Thassa's Intervention here. Good chance we see them cycle a Shark Typhoon or go digging here. So I'm going to let them resolve this because I want them to pick their cards before I kill their thing. When will signups be up for the Oakland Day Open? Probably a week or so beforehand. I think one of the reasons why we had so many people drop last time in the days of was because we put signups up so far in advance, and because there's going to be an entry fee, I'm not sure we're going to fill super quickly like we did last time. One of these cards, Nexus of Fate, because that's how life works. Yeah, I think if we open up signups a little bit later and having an entry fee, hopefully we won't have a bunch of no-shows. Oh, we're gonna have a $6 entry fee. And the $6 fee will enable us to have prizes to everybody that gets at least 5 wins in the event.
Let us see if your talents are worth. I think
And they'll scale up in a linear amount based on how many wins you get past that. I posted this in the open announcement over the weekend. But this is what the pricing structure for the open's gonna look like. 5 wins will get $20 in CSI credit, and then it'll go up by $20 for each win you get past that, basically. Yeah. Then the entry fee is mostly that. The entry fee is mostly an encouragement for people to show up. Magic's fun. Isn't Magic fun? Some bits for Healy and for having a Jeff Hoagland clip play on PT coverage too. Really? What was that, Lucky? He found another Nexus? Yeah, probably did here. We could castle and rip a stomp. Yeah, that's the out for sure. So Duress comes in, Libation comes in, Warboss comes in, Angrath actually kills Uro, which is nice. Lava Coil comes out, Mire Triton comes out. I actually think Kroxa tends to be too slow in this matchup. We need to kill them faster than that. I'm going to trim 1 Murderous Rider here because it's not super aggressive. Let's give this a go, I think. With a reasonable prize support structure like that, I've decided you are not fit to run a tournament. I think we mulligan here. I think I need a little... I guess... I'm going to keep this and see if it's good enough. I've got a Scryland. If this finds a Duress or Agonizing Remorse, the hand's perfect. This guarantees we get to curve out, right? So I'm going to keep it. I'm going to bottom it. There's plenty of lands in our deck. We get to go 3-4 regardless. Let's try and find the discard spell. Yes! Look at that. Nailed it. Nailed it. I mean, look, we said what we were looking for and we found it. Yeah, that's my plan, Boneless. I'm not planning to go back to playing Standard until rotation happens in the fall. Willing to reassess if the format fundamentally changes, but I really don't like playing with or against, I really don't like playing with or against Wilderness Reclamation decks, he says as he's playing against this one. The Expansion Explosion deck is just not fun. And like, while Nexus is a thing in this format, it's a lot less popular than what Team of Reclamation is in Standard. So if Tamiyo upticks here, we get to kill her in the air still, which is nice. Yeah, I think the Goblin's deck is super reasonable. Yeah, it looks like no Draconic Roar in Arena. I would bet that the lack of Draconic Roar was a programming implementation thing. So getting a little bit punished for bottoming that 5th land since we can't stick Dragon here, but I think it was definitely correct to bottom it. We did find the discard spell, which was nice. Sure, 11 months, Doomsayer. Welcome back. I agree, Killswitch. War of the Spark was not a pleasant experience. We have lethal next turn regardless if they have nothing, because we get to stomp them at end of turn, untap, attack, stomp them through a fog. So our flyers with a touch of disruption here really coming through. Opponent also notably boarding into a bunch of ground-based defensive units, and we have a bunch of flyers here. I'm gonna go ahead and keep the plan. I love the people that are justifying Flametongue Kavu not coming to Historic based on feel bads. Like, do these people not realize Nexus of Fate and Teferi are legal? Like that, it's so wild to me. Just like the random inconsistency. Like we can't give people Flametongue Kavu because they might kill their own creature and feel bad, but they can sit there while their Nexus of Fate opponent takes 800 turns. How much better is Craterhoof than Endrace Force Runners? Well, sometimes when you Endrace Forerunners, they get another turn. When you Craterhoof Behemoth, they don't get another turn. There aren't more turns to be had post Craterhoof. Huh? I think I'm just passing here and planning to Libation this. They could just pass their turn, though. Yeah, Summit Speed. That's why I was off for a week. Took a week off because Haley is here. She's upstairs with mom and brothers right now. Okay, second one of those is not bad. I would love this to insulate from a fog down the line. I'm just gonna go ahead and pass here. This will attack in. We'll get to Libation, their Reclamation here. I talked about this on my Twitter too, so if you don't follow me on Twitter and you want my Magic opinions, especially when I'm offline too, you can find lots of good ones there. I think the fact that I hope for future products that Magic Arena will be part of the primary focus of those products as opposed to an afterthought that they just realized they could do. A lot of the cards that they're printing in Jumpstart that aren't going to exist on Magic Arena, they could have easily been things that they could have had on Magic Arena and created a more unified product experience. I hope that we see more effort put in to creating a unified paper digital experience moving forward. I'll put that on top. Definitely in for more war bosses. What's the point of printing cards in Jumpstart? They can't be played in Arena. Isn't Jumpstart a historic thing? No, Texas Horror. Jumpstart is a product that was designed for paper long before it was designed for Arena. In fact, Jumpstart is being added to Arena as an afterthought, not as its primary feature. The only reason Jumpstart is coming to Arena is because they realized they could do most of it with very little effort. So we'll attack like this. Imagine playing Root Snare in a format with Bonecrusher Giant. Yeah, Brian, starting next week, my plan is to basically do Runeterra like I'm doing Griftlands this week. So my plan is to do 2 to 3 Magic decks in the morning and then 1 to 2 Runeterra decks in the afternoon. I just wasn't able to fit it in this week because Griftlands asked me to do some sponsored segments again. And then M21's releasing on Thursday. But yeah, as long as I'm enjoying Runeterra, and I still have been, I plan to play that, have that in my regular schedule. It was a little unfortunate that things lined up and I couldn't fit it in this week, but moving forward, I'm planning to do it consistently. And if you're one of my subs that enjoys Runeterra, deck submissions are open for Runeterra, and tier 3 subs can submit things for that as well. But again, obviously I won't be getting those till next week. How'd they tap all their lands at once? I believe it's QQ taps all their lands. Is a hotkey they added. I mean, to be fair to people who are manually tapping their lands, Wizards didn't really make it apparent and clear that that was a feature they were adding. Yay! My opponent's getting another fog. Yay! Wait, Fabled Passage? So is this a Nexus of Fate then? This must be a Nexus of Fate then, huh? So 17 months, Ace. I feel like the person that defined the default hotkey as QQ for tapping their lands knew the types of decks that would need that effect. So 7 months, Kevin. Welcome back.
To the library.
Oh, good. And now they get to escape Burrow and play Nexus of Fate, so we're dead. Really glad they banned Winota, huh? Definitely allows healthy and interesting decks to exist in Historic because Winota was banned. Nexus of Fate is definitely a more pleasant, reasonable experience compared to getting Winota. So the 15 months, Bakassin, welcome back. And that's one of the things for people that have watched my content for a while. One of my big critiques around Wizards' management of their banned list is their consistent ability to address one specific thing while leaving other things that are far more heinous legal. So they did this in Modern for forever. They did this in Pioneer very quickly, and now they're doing it in Historic. So they've banned Winota while leaving Nexus of Fate and Teferi Time Raveler legal. It's very frustrating in my opinion. Probably another Nexus of Fate matchup. I think without Winota in the format to keep our opponent's archetype in check, Nexus of Fate is one of the better decks in the format. Is likely the case. Just super unfortunate. Scott Pete, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Just, it always feels like, and I know it's probably not personal, but it feels personal because it happens in every format. I feel like they always ban the things I like playing while leaving things that are more obnoxious legal. Like they banned Felidar Guardian combo in Pioneer, and they printed a bunch of Inverter and crap. They banned Winota in this format while leaving Nexus of Fate and stuff legal. It's just super frustrating. Alright, this is a good pickup. Oh, I guess I can't escape this yet, huh? Need another land? Imagine leaving cards that can be interacted with legal. Yeah, basically. Yeah, I don't think Gruul does nearly as good of a job of policing this format as the Winota deck did. The Gruul deck's just not nearly as powerful. This is satisfying, at least. Just like, put your middle fingers in the air and say pound sand root snare. Are you dead? And this is really the thing about these Nexus decks, like, even when you kill the Nexus decks, the games just aren't that interesting. Is there a reason why you're activating it at sorcery speed? Is there a reason to not activate it at sorcery speed? It's one of those, you're right, it's technically correct to wait, but functionally it doesn't matter type things. Hey, Zero, thanks for the year and a half. Welcome back. We're going to board exactly like we boarded a second ago. Some Libation, some Warbosses, an Angrath. We're going to cut the Lava Coils. We're going to cut the Mire Tritons. We're going to cut a Murderous Rider and the Kroxas. They could cycle Shark Typhoon, and then you could kill it before blocks. Sure. There is, Knacker, I disagree with you. I think there's a lot, that's something we haven't actually talked about today, but Noxious had a good video on this. Goldfish put out a video as well. I think the fact that they are going to be reprinting so many rares in M21 and they haven't announced it. Maybe on Thursday they're going to surprise us and announce some kind of protection. But like if they put out a set that has 24 reprint rares in it on Arena, it's completely unacceptable in my opinion. Alan Den, thanks for the 14 months. Arena's monetization model is already incredibly predatory and not consumer friendly. And the fact that this consumer model that's already predatory and not consumer friendly is going to become even more so is unacceptable. And for people that don't know what I'm talking about, they're reprinting Temples and Fabled Passage in the core set. And for the record, I think reprinting both of those things in terms of those things will continue to be in standard, I think is very good. However, the fact that on Arena, it means I have to open 4 more copies of cards I already have 4 copies of. And in this case, the cards I'm opening more copies of don't even have new artwork. It's just a different set symbol. So Wizards is basically stealing 24 rares from me from the new set. They're stealing 24 rares from every person that completes a set of the new set. Sellers, thanks for 19 months. Welcome back. A good solution would to be anytime they reprint a card on Arena, it just shouldn't be in the non-draft booster packs for that set. I don't want to redraw this because I want to draw some lands. What should happen is every time they add a new artwork or a new set symbol for a card, those new artworks and set symbols should just be styles for those cards. Just like you pick foils or whatever, you should just go in when you're in your deck editor, you should change the artwork or the set symbol based on a style. It's how it should work in my opinion. I'm going to time you out for not listening to the words that I said, because the words that came out of my mouth were, if you already have those cards, because believe it or not, this is digital. So Wizards of the Coast can do different things with different booster packs that players open based on what their collection looks like. So when I open a booster pack on Magic Arena, Wizards of the Coast could say, hey, does Jeff's collection have 4 copies of this card that's in this? If yes, I'm not going to give him that card. I'm just going to give him a style. Like, again, this game does not need to hamstring itself with acting like everything is paper. This is a digital card game, and we can do some things in the digital card game digitally to make it better and make it a better consumer experience. I actually don't think dusting should be a thing. And dusting is predatory, but it's predatory in a different way. And the only reason you're okay with dusting is because you have Stockholm Syndrome from other games and Hearthstone copying Hearthstone. I actually think the lack of dusting in Arena is like pretty reasonable, because dusting encourages people to make bad impulse decisions. We're dead this game. I'm going to concede. We missed our land drop and we can't beat this Uro. Dusting, for people not familiar, is Hearthstone's original system was, and that lots of other people copied, is that you can destroy a card that you have and you get 25% of its value to turn into another card. So if you destroy 4 rares you don't want, you get 1 rare you do want. Is our audio peaking badly? I'll keep an eye on it. There's a couple of people mentioned it. I did put a gate on the top end of my thing, and maybe that's not behaving well. Let me check my filters here. All right, I put a compressor at the top end. Wrong verb. Let me turn the compressor off and drag my gain down a little. How do you feel if we could just buy cards or wild cards that are opening packs? I think that would be great. I think that's what Runeterra does. And Runeterra is the most consumer-friendly digital card game out there in terms of how you acquire it. Thanks for the heads up on the audio. I went ahead and disabled my compressor at the top end. If it's when I'm loud, it's probably the compressor, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off and see if that. People that have heard it, let me know if it happens again at this point. Artemix, thanks for the quarter view. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, so I have a second Remorse here. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Aether Gust, and then I'm going to hope to draw a land next turn and stick the Warboss. Magic Man. Thanks for the 14 months, Spank Weasel. Right, Texas Horb? And again, like, you know, Magic is a game that has an incredible number of non-games. There's a good chance we just can't win anymore because we missed our land drop. As far as non-land draws go, this was the best non-land draw in our deck. Hey, Handsome. Thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Thanks for keeping me around. They're up to 3 cards in their bin. If I hit running lands here and we get to curve Vraska's Contempt to exile this, we could be okay. But things definitely not looking good for our hero here at the moment. Almost positive. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. So we have to trade Dreadhorde Butcher for this Shark now. Again, Shark Typhoon just incredibly powerful. This card's a big part of what makes the Reclamation deck good in Standard as well. Yeah, we played against Esper Control. Esper Control and Nexus of Fate. Sounds good, Handsome. And again, we're dead at this point. They're going to need to start drawing cards with Uro, and we just can't win. Need lands to play Magic, unfortunately, and we just don't have any. So, just to highlight, again, why I think Wizards of the Coast made an incredibly bad decision banning Winota. I think decks like this one here in front of us were very reasonable when Winota was the best deck in the format, because mid-range decks that are interactive and have threats to apply pressure tend to be very good against creature decks and decks that care about removal. However, and again, anecdotal, we don't have good data. Wizards is not transparent. A lot of people in the subs Discord that have been playing Historic have said there's been a lot of Esper Control and Nexus of Fate on the ladder since they banned Winota, because those were decks that Winota kept in check. And I don't think this deck's probably very competitive in a format where those decks are the best things to be doing. I think these types of mid-range decks where your removal spells just aren't good just aren't going to have decent matchups there. You're not 0%. Obviously, if you run good, you could be okay. But I think if you told me I was going to play against mostly Esper Control and Nexus of Fate, this is not a deck I would want to be playing. So I think this is it's definitely a bit of, I think in a pre-Winota format, this deck would be very reasonable and would be probably pretty competitive and would be sweet. But I think in a post-Winota format, where there's more Nexus of Fate and there's more Teferi Time Reveler, this deck is not particularly good. All right, speaking of Teferis though, up next we're going to be playing one of the decks that I like that tends to have a pretty good Teferi matchup. So I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick ad roll. I get everything set up and flipped over. We'll be back in just a few minutes with some Yarok Field here in Historic. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.